So what we're doing right now is we've tilled this field a couple of times. We've removed a lot of the big rocks, and now we're going in with all of the compost from the chicken coop from the previous year. It had to sit a year before you could actually put it onto your garden. So this patch has been over a year, and we're going to use that to amend the soil with. Once that's completed, then I'll go through this now with a hoe, and I'll be removing any more rocks that I think need to come out, and then we'll get to planting. Okay, so we now have all of the chicken compost mixed in with the soil. I've leveled everything as best I can. We removed 4 or 5 gallon buckets of rocks, and we've put up the fencing for this year. Next will be to plant peas and corn, and I'll show you that setup once I've got it all completed. Okay, so I've got the corn in. I've planted 4 rows of corn here. There's 20 stalks per row, so we've got 80 corn plants. I've marked them off with these holes so I can be sure that they were spaced out 2 feet apart. You plant the corn 9 inches seed to seed, and we've never done corn before, so it'll be interesting to see if we're successful. I'm about to go over here now. I've put up my trellis, and I'm going to be putting my peas in here. So you plant peas about 2 inches apart and about 1 to 2 inches deep, and then we're going to water it really heavily. So I'm going to do that in front of this trellis, and then I've got space here to the left and right of it. We're going to build a couple of tripods, and we're going to try doing tripods in this section because there are a lot of different ways you can grow these types of peas. They're climbers and vines, so they like to do that. So we thought we'd start with the trellis, and then a week later we're going to put in at least 1 tripod and see how that works as well. So basically all I'm going to be doing now is going in with my little 3-prong guy, and I'm going to go in and draw my line where I want to plant my seeds. I'm going to keep it just close to the base of the trellis so that they can reach it easily. So basically just disturbing the ground a bit. Keeping in mind I have to go at least 1 inch down, which that seems pretty good. Okay. And their seeds are going to look just like a little dried up pea. So that's what they're going to look like. So we're just going to start right here at this point, push them down, and we're going to go every 2 inches, push them down, push them down. Push it down. Mark my next spot so I don't screw up. Probably 2 more, 1 here, 1 there, 1, 2. Push them down a little bit, cover them over gently, move the rocks out of the way. Still more rocks. It's amazing how many rocks there are. All right, now I'm just going to water that really generously. And I've already watered the corn once, but I'm going to go through, and as soon as the sun goes down a bit, I'm going to go back in and water it again, just to make sure it gets enough. It is a really hot day today. So that's going to be it for this part of the property today. We did till where the pumpkins were last year. We will be planting pumpkins again. That's not going to be for a while. So we'll be back though to go over some things I'm putting in the flower garden this year that are new as well. See you in a bit. All right, taking a short break before I move on to my next project, hanging out with the girls for a little while. And I thought I would just update you on the reason why I haven't really posted much since fall. Actually, I haven't posted anything. So last fall, we were working on putting in a run just for our rooster Harlow. And Harlow had been free ranging during the day, and then coming in at night. He had his own little bachelor pad inside the coop. And that was working out okay, but we were obviously worried about him being alone all day outside and knowing that we have predators in the area. So we decided to invest in an electric, like solar powered door panel that we could program. And it was actually going to go right in there where you can see the wood has been removed. We had marked off where we were going to cut the hole in the coop. And that would lead right from his little bachelor pad right out into a run that was going to circle around like an L around the coop and connect to this side so that he'd be near the girls but have enough room, you know, to run around and eat bugs and have fun. But like literally the day before we were going to install the door, we came home and we found feathers all over the yard. And we had seen, about a week before, we had seen broad daylight, a very bold and very large bobcat right where our yard stops and our woods begin. He literally came right out and walked in front of me while I had one of my son's, well, my son's only rabbit, Panda, outside playing. Scooped him up, brought him in, and Lucas ran around the house and chased him off, but he obviously wasn't daunted because he did come back. What are you doing? What are you doing? He did come back, and unfortunately we know it absolutely was him because that same day on our trail cam, he was sitting right in front of the trail cam and we got like a perfect shot of his face. So we know it's him. We haven't seen him since, so we're hoping that means he's moved on, figuring out that he can't get into the run here or the coop. But I definitely would not have a free-ranging chicken again, even for a short while. And we were both really, really sad about Harlow's passing because even though he could be really annoying, he was funny and, you know, he was just different. Roosters are different than hens. He was protective of them. He did pace around the coop all the time. And if I came into the coop, he'd get right up here on top and he'd squawk at me, you know. And I did have to walk around with a rake basically all the time in case he attacked me because he did like to go after me when I was out doing things in the yard. So after that happened, I kind of was feeling down and questioning, you know, was this the right decision for us trying to keep him or should we have just rehomed him? That's what a lot of people do. But, you know, we're learning. You know, someday we might want to have another one. I don't know, but we would definitely wait until we had the setup already. Harlow was a surprise. He was supposed to be a olive egger hen, and turned out he was a rooster. So no olive colored eggs, and unfortunately he did not make it. So I took a break from doing anything related to the chickens or, you know, the property and the things that we work on here. And now I'm feeling a little bit better about things, and maybe it's the spring, but definitely getting back into posting, and so I'll be putting up more videos. The girls are all doing well. We lost a couple over the winter of the older girls. We have two of our older girls still left. We have Ruby here and Aria. And Ruby had a health scare a couple weeks ago. She had what's called water belly, and we had never dealt with that before, so we had to actually get a syringe and needle, 18 gauge needle, and we had to draw the fluid off her belly. So Lucas held her while I did that. We took actually 200 cc's of water out of her belly, and she now seems to be feeling much better. They do say, what I've read about this condition is that she's going to continue to have it happen. Probably every 2 months we're going to have to take her in the house and do that, remove the fluid. But as long as she's happy and healthy otherwise, we see no reason not to keep doing it. And hopefully she'll have a few more years left in her. Hi. Hello, Letitia. Both Stormy and Artemis have gotten very heavy as well as being large. Stormy on the left here, she was always the bigger of the two, but she was actually lightweight. When you picked her up, she didn't feel like she weighed a ton, but I picked her up the other day and man, she weighs a lot. She is no lightweight. And her sister here, Artemis, has always been heavy. Come here, you. Come here, you. Aw, good girls. Oh, my good girls. All right, I think that's enough of a break, and I had been wanting to explain that for a while now, so I'm glad that that's now been dealt with, and I'm going to move on. So for the rest of the day, I'm going to head over into the flower garden and do some work on that. So I'll be back in a moment. Different setup this year for the garden. We got rid of the white trellis that we had last year and invested in a couple of these. These are actually dog pens that we opened up and connected to create the fencing. We wanted something to keep the deer out, but something that was going to be easy to move and take out when fall came. And this folds right up easily and will fit in the shed. The only drawback is because of the way it's made, it like has that, so I got to stoop to get in and out, but I might cut that off at some point so I can just walk right in. So as you can see, we had so much rain that everything kind of grew like crazy, including the weeds. I got to get in here and get the weeds out first. Once it gets the weeds out, I'm going to then remove the rest of the rocks. I think you can see some of them here. I've got some rocks still from where we used to have a circular rock path around it. Those are all going to come out. And then what we'll do is these fences, the way they work is they have these little pegs here that you push down, and then that allows you to adjust the angle here. So we'll just push them down like here and then across the way, that one. Unhook it here and fold it open, and that way we can mow right up close and get all this area here that really needs to be mowed. So we'll do all of that too. I'm not sure if I'm going to get all of this done today, but I'm at least going to start with the weeding and see how far I get. This year, like last year, I am doing lettuce in pots again. I do think it works the best. And as you can see, this lettuce that I started inside under a grow light is just doing amazing. I've already harvested once for the rabbits, so I'll be definitely cutting some of this a little later on today. I'm not sure what I want to do about my lavender. It seems to be getting forced out by the daylilies. So that's the other thing, is the daylilies are huge. This is the biggest they've ever been. And I split them last year. So I might not have split them enough, I guess. I don't know. They might also end up going somewhere else, because I think that they would do really well right along the shore of the little creek there, which is where I have some daffodils also. Unfortunately, the daffodils came and went pretty quick, but you can see where they were. They were right over there. And then we have a few others that I have found that somebody planted in the woods at some point. Either that or this area, maybe it was much more clear before we bought the house. And off by their lonesome, we have these really delicate little guys. There's another one getting ready to open. Not really sure what kind of a daffodil they are. I think they're a daffodil. But we marked the spot here because this is the only cluster of them, and I want to move them also over to where the other daffodils are. We meant to do it last year, but then we totally forgot, and then we couldn't find them. The foliage all dies back and you can't tell what's what. So we've marked them this year, and we'll be digging them up as soon as they are ready to be dug, and then transplanting them. The other thing we did today is we got the water barrel all set up, the rain barrel, to collect so that I won't have to lug so much water over here to the garden area. I'll be able to fill my buckets right here. And then our plan, we had bought 2 more of these. Our plan is to set them up down in the back by that garden down there. At this point, we're still discussing getting a 12 by 20 run-in for down there. And then what we'll do is we'll attach the same kind of setup we have here, one on each side though, and it will have 2 rain barrels down there. And that way we'll be able to collect water for down there, and we won't have to take it in this cart like I've been taking it in these 5-gallon buckets. All right, so I'm about to start my weeding, and I'll give you a quick look at it once I get finished.